You've done it again. You're standing in a room full of people, perhaps a party, a boardroom, or a family gathering. And while everyone else is laughing, nodding, and performing the rehearsed scripts of social cohesion, you feel an icy, analytical detachment. You see the micro-expressions they miss. You hear the insecurity behind the boastful laugh. You notice the subtle power play in the way one man leans over another. And suddenly, a crushing realization hits you. You are a ghost in the machine. You feel the weight of a secret you didn't ask to carry. It's the weight of seeing the world as it actually is, rather than how it's marketed to the masses. While others find comfort in the herd, you find only noise. You've tried to fit in, to lower your frequency, to care about the trivialities that seem to fascinate the normals. But it feels like wearing a suit of armor 3 sizes too small. It chafes. It suffocates. You go home, sit in the silence of your room, and wonder if there is something fundamentally broken in your wiring, or if you are simply tuned into a broadcast that everyone else is deaf to. That isolation isn't a defect. It is your initiation. Most people are designed to be governed. A rare few are designed to observe, analyze, and lead. If you feel like an outsider, it's because you were never meant to be a resident of the herd. You were meant to be its architect. Why do you feel this way? The answer isn't found in modern self-help platitudes, but in the cold realities of evolutionary psychology and the dark insights of the masters. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the herd morality, the tendency of the masses to prize goodness and equality as a defensive mechanism to suppress the exceptional. You feel alienated because your biology is rejecting the sedative of the average. The uncomfortable truth is that human society is a hierarchy disguised as a democracy. Most people operate on System 1 thinking, fast, instinctive, and deeply influenced by social proof. They do what others do because the brain tells them that standing out equals death. But you? You possess what Arthur Schopenhauer described as the clear mirror of the world. Your consciousness has evolved past mere survival into high-level pattern recognition. You are experiencing a cognitive dissonance between the lies you are told, that everyone is equal, that merit always wins, that being nice is the ultimate virtue, and the Machiavellian reality you observe every day. You see the will to power in every interaction. You see the shadow selves that Carl Jung warned us about, lurking behind every polite smile. You aren't antisocial. You are hypersocial. You see the social fabric so clearly that you can see the individual threads fraying. You aren't wrong. You're just awake in a room full of sleepwalkers. High-level intelligence and dark psychological awareness come with a mandatory fee, the loss of simple belonging. Most people enjoy the blissful ignorance of the dopamine loop, scrolling, consuming, and reacting. You, however, are cursed with the observer's tax. You cannot simply enjoy a movie or a conversation. You are busy deconstructing the propaganda, the manipulative framing, and the underlying status games. Evolutionarily, this is the Sentry Protocol. In ancestral tribes, 95% of the group needed to be followers, but 5% needed to be hyper-vigilant observers to detect predators. You are the modern sentry. When you walk into a restaurant, you don't look at the menu first. You look at the exits and the people. When a colleague offers you constructive feedback in front of the boss, the herd sees a helpful peer. You see a low-intensity dominance play designed to signal your incompetence to the hierarchy. Sovereignty begins with the realization that you don't need to belong to the group to control your environment. In fact, belonging is often a form of submission. While the average person feels an agonizing need to fill every silence with vocal grooming, pointless small talk, the outlier understands the predatory power of a vacuum. Most people speak to convince themselves they exist. They leak information, reveal their insecurities, and telegraph their next moves because they cannot handle the tension of a quiet room. If you withhold your speech, you create a psychological pressure that forces the other person to over-disclose. Think of a negotiation or a first date. When the other person finishes a sentence, instead of responding, wait 4 seconds. Just 4. Watch them fidget. Watch them reveal exactly what they're afraid of. Cut your word count by 50%. Answer questions with "Why do you ask?" or "Tell me more." He who speaks least controls most. Silence is the ultimate frame of dominance because it suggests you have nothing to prove and everything to hide. The outlier understands a secret that Jung made famous. People do not see you. They see the parts of themselves they haven't reconciled. When someone calls you arrogant or cold, they are usually projecting their own feelings of inadequacy. Because you don't perform the standard social rituals, you become a blank screen. People will project their deepest fears and desires onto you. The masses hate what they cannot categorize. When you set a firm boundary, saying no without an explanation, people will react with anger. They aren't mad at your no. They are mad that you have the internal authority they lack. To be misunderstood is a strategic advantage. If they don't know who you are, they cannot predict your moves. Being not like other people makes you a ghost in their tactical radar. Machiavelli famously asked whether it is better to be loved or feared. The outlier knows the answer. It is best to be underestimated. Most people spend their lives trying to look big, buying cars they can't afford, bragging about titles, shouting for attention. This is prey behavior trying to mimic a predator. True power is quiet. True predators in the psychological sense often present as the most unassuming people in the room. They don't need the spotlight because they own the stage. Notice the man who is the loudest in the gym. He is usually the most insecure. Contrast him with the man who says nothing, works with surgical intensity, and leaves. Identify one area where you are flexing for attention and stop it immediately. Hide your strength. Let people believe they are superior to you. The most dangerous person is the one who has no ego to bruise. By removing your need for external validation, you become immune to the primary tool of social manipulation. To the herd, friendship is a feeling. To the strategist, every relationship is a Nash equilibrium, a point where both parties gain something or the system collapses. People who aren't like others often feel guilty for seeing the transactional nature of life. You shouldn't. Evolutionary biology proves that altruism is often reciprocal altruism. When you stop providing value, whether that's money, emotional labor, or status, watch how quickly your friends evaporate. Think of the friend who only calls when they have a crisis. They aren't looking for a friend. They are looking for a free therapist. They are withdrawing from your emotional bank account without ever making a deposit. Perform a resource audit. List your connections and ask what you are giving and what you are receiving. If the ledger is consistently red, stop the investment. Loyalty to a sinking ship is not a virtue, it's a suicide pact. While the masses are ruled by the amygdala hijack, reacting with outrage to every news headline, the outlier practices what the Stoics called ataraxia, or imperturbability. You possess the internal citadel. You realize that your emotional state is the only thing you truly own, and giving it away to a provocateur is a form of slavery. When your prefrontal cortex, the seat of strategy, shuts down due to emotion, you become predictable. The normals are perpetually emotional, meaning they are perpetually stupid. Practice the third-person view. When something stressful happens, narrate it to yourself as if it's happening to a character in a movie. Indifference is more powerful than hate. Hate is an attachment. Indifference is a release. When you truly don't care about the opinions of the herd, you become their master. The final principle is the hardest to swallow. The more you succeed in becoming unaverage, the more alone you will become. This is the apex paradox. The higher you climb the mountain of self-mastery, the thinner the air becomes. There are fewer people to talk to who understand your language. Nietzsche's Superman was not a man of the people. He was a man apart from the people. You must embrace the coldness of the summit. You will reach a point where you can no longer participate in normal conversations about celebrity gossip. You will feel a profound boredom. This boredom is the signal that you have outgrown your environment. Stop apologizing for your intensity. Learn to enjoy your own company more than the company of those who drain you. Most people are afraid of the dark. You must learn to inhabit it. If you apply these principles, something terrifying and beautiful will happen. Within 6 months, your old friends might not recognize you. They will say you've changed. They will say you're different, colder, or too serious. What they actually mean is that they can no longer manipulate you. They can no longer predict your reactions. You will move through the world with a quiet lethality, not the lethality of violence, but the lethality of a mind that cannot be deceived. You will find that opportunities begin to gravitate toward you because you are the only one in the room with a clear signal in a world of static. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel lonely. But once you have seen the gears of the world, you can never go back to being just another cog. You are becoming a dangerous individual, one who is self-governed, self-reliant, and strategically silent. The path of the outlier is not for everyone. In fact, 99% of the people who started this video have already clicked away. They chose the blue pill. But you are still here. That means the observer's tax has already been paid. You are ready to stop being a ghost in your own life and start being the architect. However, the world and the algorithms that govern it do not want you to have this information. They want you compliant, emotional, and predictable. What I have shared today is only the surface. There are deeper strategies, darker truths, and more potent psychological frameworks that are too dangerous for a public forum. They exist behind the join button. By clicking join, you enter a circle of like-minded outliers. You unlock and censor deep dives into Machiavellian strategy and shadow work that the normals find repulsive. Most will see the price and stay in the herd. That's the point. The gates are narrow for a reason. If you are who I think you are, I'll see you on the other side. If not, enjoy the noise of the crowd. It's the last time it will ever feel like home. If this insight resonated with your frequency, hit the like button and share it with the few who can understand. To join our circle of outliers and master the hidden gears of the world, subscribe and turn on notifications. Your journey into the shadow has only just begun. Thank you for watching.